Alright, it's your boy Gabe again. We're back at it again with another install, this time with a 2008 BMW 328. This build is wild. So where we're putting the trunk setup, it's not even going to be in the trunk, but I'm going to let you guys see that. We're going to pair it with flyer struts per usual, airlift 3P management, two 2.5 gallon seamless tanks, just because where we're going to put it is wild. Let me show you the interior and then just stay tuned. So the front suspension's finally out. He was on Rev 9 coilovers. Now we're switching to our bags. Again, you've seen our previous video with the Supra. You know, we have 32-way adjustable dampening, camber top plates. Like I said, it's not necessary for all the cars, but we like to give customers the option to just be able to move it, just in case later in the future they want to do wide wheels. So with this car, we're gonna do 12. Just because he wants to just chill, comfy, a little bit of stiffness, nothing too crazy. And we adjusted the shock with our steel braided lines, pushed to connect the brass fittings, and let's go. Okay guys, so we installed the front struts, everything's adjusted. For some reason, this was a real pain. I guess because the spindle and the coilovers before it, they forced it in. So I had trouble putting in this shock. But nonetheless, it's all done. Now we're just gonna get to the rear. The rear is separate. So come on here, I'll show you real quick. So customer has about 500 to 700 pounds of music. So what we did for this vehicle, so it can get enough height, we raised the top bracket about 1 inch just to give him height, because our factory specs on the rear wasn't going to allow this customer to air up high enough. And because the customer is currently on 20-inch wheels, it's going to give it the perfect drop and enough height to compensate for the weight. And with the shocks adjusted and the dampening adjusted, it'll give it the quality ride. So now, as for the rear shock, we have basically this design, right? So because he has weight, we're gonna do, usually we'll do 12 to 15 as I said in my previous video. This one we're gonna do 20 to 22, just again to compensate the weight of the music, and we don't want the shock blowing. And this is very important. When you guys install our struts, please, I can't stress enough to adjust the dampening. The dampening will make or break the ride. You know, if you don't adjust the dampening, it's gonna have a terrible quality, and nobody wants that. Especially if you have weight, you want to compensate the dampening. So you want this stiffer, so when he hits bumps and the weight transfers down to the bag and the shock, it distributes evenly and you won't get any horrible ride. So this is what we try to focus on, you know, depending and accommodating each build, you know. So now if I hadn't had known that he had weight and music, I would have did a regular bracket and, you know, adjusted the dampening regular, and who knows how long this shock would have lasted. But because we looked into the customer, asked him questions, what was his plans, what's the vehicle on, we were able to adjust and accommodate everything. So this car is gonna ride the way it's supposed to, even with 600 to 700 pounds of music weight in the back. So let's get it. All right.
Rear shock is in. Hard to see, but. So now we need to change this control arm because the bag gets too close. As you can see, his control arm is straight. So now we have switched over to our control arm where it loops so the bag can sit. So you can see there the loop goes to it straight. Alright, so we mounted a compressor here. Then we mounted a compressor there. Hard to see, hold on. So we're drilling the brackets and we're mounting them on the seat here. We're doing one tank here and then one tank there. It's getting pretty dope. Alright, so we're trying to bend this bracket a little more angled so we can put it in between, like where the center console is in the back seat. Without it being angled, the manifold hits the center console. So I'm hoping to bend this and it should fit. So go ahead, let's go. Bend it, homie.
More down.
Up. Up? Yeah. It's going. Alright, right there should be fine. So then we're gonna take it probably have to bend it a little more, but bend it a little bit more so it can angle up and not hit this. Alright, let's get to more bending. Alright, so after like 40 minutes, to be honest, we finally got it. This was a pain in the ass because there was no room. So it looks cool. We're gonna change this plaque to a Flyer one, chrome, so it's gonna match the mirror. But so you guys can see it's floating. By the way, these brackets on Amazon for like 40 bucks. I'm gonna try to make some for you guys because it comes in very clutch. So now we have to get the lines from underneath the car to in here. So the trunk has a bunch of music in here. As you can see, this wiring. He was nice enough to remove everything so we can run our wires and airline. So now the task is, do I want to drill a hole how I would usually do with a grommet and run it here underneath, but I don't think I pulled enough line, one, and two, his music is so heavy that I'm scared it might squish the line. So now the mission is trying to figure out where we can run the lines. Yeah, so we'll see. Alright, all the lines ran. This looks super clean. We just gotta clean this glass. Tanks are mounted. Came out super dope. Now let's see this aired out. Setup is back together. This is why we couldn't put anything back here. There's literally absolutely no room at all. Well, there you guys have it. The 2008 BMW 328 series bagged on our Flyer struts, airlift 3P management, two 2.5 gallon seamless tanks, and two dual compressors. Well, one dual compressor, what am I saying? But here you have it. Stay tuned for the next episode and we'll see what happens.